Hello! In today's video, I'm going to give you a look at what a Plains Native American warrior's dress may have looked like in the 1800s. The Plains region was a large region that stretched down the middle of the United States, and it was home to many tribes. And these tribes had many different looks and customs and dress, many of them similar but in the same way different. Now we'll start from the top and work our way down. On my head you see I'm wearing a very colorful large roach. This is called a Porky Roach. These roaches were worn by Plains Native American warriors, not just in ceremony, but also they would be worn on day-to-day life, whether it would be a scout or in a war party. These roaches were larger than the ones seen in the woodland regions. They would stretch down the wearer's head, down the back, and they would be very large, and they'd be often made of horse hair, deer hair, or porcupine hair. Now these roaches were often, a very common color was red. They were often colored red because red was associated as a warrior's color. And they would also often be adorned with a feather in the middle or an eagle feather in the middle for strength. So these roaches were a very common thing to see a Plains warrior. Some tribes that wore these roaches were such as the Pawnee, were seen wearing these types of roaches. Working our way down, you'll see I have a bear claw necklace on. This bear claw necklace is genuine black bear claws. Many Plains tribes wore bear claws on necklaces around their necks not only as a symbol of strength and wealth, but also because the bear itself was a very respected creature among tribes of the Americas, and wearing any part from the bear, whether it be teeth or claws or anything, was very ceremonial and had spiritual meaning. A lot of these claws would be worn, depending on the tribe, as either a sign for strength or for healing. The bear had many different meanings to different tribes. A lot of this one here is kind of small. A lot of Plains tribes would wear much larger necklaces with grizzly bear claws. Now these necklaces would go the whole width of a man's chest and would often have fur woven in between the claws on the necklace. Working your way down, you'll see I have a very large breastplate on my chest. Now these breastplates, this one here is made of bone hair pipe beads, trade beads, bone hair pipe beads, and glass trade beads. This breastplate here would have been worn during the 1800s, often as a symbol of wealth and status, but also in a way it did offer some protection against primitive weaponry, because a stone-headed war club or a flint arrow may get deflected or at least minimalized if it hit directly on these beads. So they did offer some sort of armor or protection to the wearer because they were sturdy and strong. But often they were worn simply as a decorative piece that showed status and wealth. Same with these brass arm beads. Armbands were often worn by Native American tribes prior to European contact. They would have been either leather armbands with quill work on them, or I've also seen elk or deer feet cut down and spread around and worn with the hoofs around the wearer's arms. But after the introduction of European metal trade goods, often these would be made of a silver or a brass and worn upon a wearer's arms just as a symbol of status or wealth. Now warriors were often seen carrying war clubs. One common club that I'm carrying today is a gunstock war club. Now these clubs were very common among many Native American tribes, not just the Plains, but this one here is styled after a Plains club. It's adorned with a metal warhead, brass tacks, and it has some carvings in the top. These clubs were given their name because they're resemblance to a gunstock war club is what it's called. Now these clubs were given their name because they're a resemblance to a rifle stock, and they were a very common club to be seen carried by any Native American on the Plains. Very light and very effective. Working your way down, you'll see that I'm not wearing a shirt. In another video I recommend you check it out. I break down a war shirt. Many tribes did wear shirts, very decorative war shirts, but it was also very hot in the Plains in the summertime, so it was very common to see a male Native American running around without any shirt on or bare shirted, especially from tribe to tribe. So to see a non-shirted individual was just as common, if not more common, than seeing one in a very decorative war shirt. Working our way down, you'll see I'm wearing just a simple red breechcloth made of red trade cloth. I have on a pair of leggings. Now these leggings are cut here. They're not like pants, they're just cut, and a cloth would be wrapped around. That was the most common form of lower wear by almost all Native American tribes in the Americas. And this one reason that these were worn instead of pants is they were simpler to make. They produced less waste material than making a pair of pants would, and they offered a form of breeze and cooler weather. So Native Americans wore these. Now in the plains, you'll see fringe was worn. Fringe is not worn in woodland regions. It's something specific to the plains, and I don't think anyone truly knows what the invention of fringe was. A few examples I've heard of by historians was it could use to be swat away flies upon riding a horse. It could be used as a form of drying the material quicker because rainwater would run off the fringe tassels on the side. And the more theory I've recently heard was it was used to kind of break up a wearer's pattern and like make camouflage. Because when a deer or a buffalo or an antelope would be looking at you on the plains in this tall grass, this would help break up your figure and make you harder to spot. That's one theory I've heard. And last but not least, you'll see I'm wearing a pair of moccasins that are sewed around the heel of the mock, not down the center. That was a common plains. They're very short mocks. They stop at your ankle. Most tribes wore moccasins that would stop at the ankle and would go no higher. That was just a short video I wanted to do today to show another example of what a plains Native American warrior would have looked like. Please go check out my other videos. It helps me a lot. I appreciate every one of you. If you could hit that like and subscribe button, I'd appreciate it. Until next time, have a wonderful day. Oh.